Hi everyone, my name is Karli Williamson, and I apologize for this being uploaded late, but I didn't want to film this until I was able to conduct my interview, which I wasn't able to do until Sunday evening, so that's why this is being posted late. So this discussion is supposed to go over the thoughts on the organizational factors that contributed to either the resistance to support of the workplace change as described during the interview that I conducted. I interviewed my husband, who works for General Motors in their IT department, and was hired on just a little under 2 years ago. Um, so the company itself has seen a lot of restructuring, from bankruptcy. Since Nathan's been hired on, they've gotten a new CEO. So there's been a lot of organizational changes that have taken place since he's been hired on. I would say that through my interview, I found that one of the largest organizational factors that constituted to the support of the workplace change was the developing of a new strategy and vision. The company definitely went from a very outsourced frame of mind to a very insourced frame of mind, and have, especially in their IT department, they've become more centralized, opening IT offices throughout the nation, the newest one being here in Phoenix, and it's really given the company a sense of stability and reliability and accountability as well. And I would also have to say that after conducting the interview, generating short-term wins has really been a main driving factor behind the support of the workplace changes at General Motors, such as really like the big hiring process, which my husband was actually hired in underneath. It was right before, maybe a few months before Mary Barra took over as CEO. And I would have to say that the recall was probably a short-term win in their overall cultural change, which really went from making a cheaper product to making a better product. And so I would really say that those short-term wins have, especially throughout the interview, really kind of got brought up and showed that the change was starting to solidify and that people were starting to grasp onto it and really take the reins with it. And that also goes along with consolidating gains and producing more changes. First, you have to start with the insourcing and eliminating the outsourcing, or at least heavily reducing it, so that way the employees of the company can really see what your intentions are, and that your intentions are to keep them around and to keep them employed, to keep the US employed, and then implementing more gains and more changes after each one has really had its own little set of solidity throughout the company. And what was interesting is that these changes really started taking place right about the time that my husband got hired. And so when I asked him about solidifying the changes and if they're anchored in yet, he said that even the 2 years that he's been there, it's way too early to tell. And that kind of just shows how difficult this change process is. It's not an overnight thing, and it's not necessarily a few months thing, especially when you're changing the entire company culture. Uh, it it really expands and it broadens, and especially in a large company such as General Motors, that the change process is so complex that it still hasn't been completed over the 2 years that he's been there. And he continues to see changes throughout the company's policy. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you all got a chance to watch it and respond to it. Y'all have a great night.